Welcome back to Pink Turtle Soaps. If you notice that this setup looks exactly like the last video, it's because I'm making this soap immediately after the last one. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave an eye in the upper right hand corner. For this soap, I'm making a men's fragrance, and I chose this one because it's not very musky. It's a really great selection if you're someone that doesn't like a men's fragrance to be too musky. I find that most really do have that very, very strong musky undertone or base to it. It's a very lovely men's fragrance. I think it'll be perfect for Valentine's Day. In this container, I have all of my oils melted down. And in this one over here, I have my lye water. And my next step is to add the lye water to my oils and blend it with my stick blender. Alright, so everything is blended together. And so now I'm going to split it off into smaller containers. Alright, so these aren't completely level, but they're close enough. And into each of these containers, I'm going to add a little bit of dark navy mica, and that's from Nurture Soap. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. I'm going to give all these a really quick blend with the stick blender, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to move it off. I'm not adding anything to it. But for these two, I'm going to add a little bit of titanium dioxide. I want to do my best to achieve sort of a gradient. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so these two are pretty close together, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the navy mica to the middle one to darken it up a little bit, but not as dark as this third one over here. Alright, so hopefully the camera is picking that up, but this one is a really pretty middle shade between these two. And so now I'm going to scrape down the sides just to make sure that the color is nice and incorporated. And I'm spilling a little bit. Yep, did it again. This soap wouldn't be complete if I didn't make a mess. So all I'm going to do now is add the fragrance oil, and I'm going to blend that in by hand, and then we'll get to pouring the soap. Alright, so we've got our mold here. I'm going to start with the darker navy and pour some in. And those two lighter colors really do look a lot, very similar. They look very, very similar. But this fragrance oil, by the time that I added it, it does accelerate quite a bit. So, in all honesty, I didn't have time to add any darker color. Didn't have time to add any more navy mica or to add any more titanium dioxide to this lightest color. So, I'm hoping that once the soap hardens that you can see somewhat of a difference between those two lighter shades. And this fragrance is probably my new favorite men's fragrance. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process for you guys because I'm just going to go back and forth between all of the colors. So we're finished with this soap. All I have left to do now is spray it down with rubbing alcohol to help prevent any soda ash. And I'm going to clean up the sides of the molds here. We should be able to come back in about 24 hours. I'll check it, and if it's ready to cut up, we'll go ahead and slice it and see how those swirls look. Alright, so we're back the next day to cut up the date night soap. And you may have noticed I added some pink Himalayan salt just to add a little extra something on top. It looked a little bare. And I noticed something when I took it out of the mold. It's starting to speckle, and if it does it all the way through the soap, I think it's going to make it look even more amazing. I think it's going to make it look more like a stone maybe, especially if these swirls turn out awesome. So let's go ahead and cut off this first bar. And I turned it on its side so that I wouldn't drag any of the salt down the front of the bar. Oh, that's cool. You can definitely see all three colors. The two lighter shades are pretty close, but you can still see the difference. Then there's the top with the salts on the side. I think it gives it just a little something extra. There's the back side. Like I said, the end bars are usually not the prettiest, but you can see that speckling that I was talking about. I don't know, I think it'll kind of come out looking like a stone if it does it all the way through. So let's go ahead and cut up this loaf and see what we've got waiting for us. If you'd like to grab yourself a bar, these will be available at pinkturtlesoaps.com February 1st at 8 a.m. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I upload new soap making videos every single Wednesday. And we also have an Instagram, so if you'd like to, you can find us there and give us a follow. I do upload a lot about the business and a lot about the soaps over there on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.